Okay, so picture this. You're on a spacecraft, right? Hurtling out into, well, just the deep cosmic dark. The sun, just another star back there, and Earth. Forget about it. Tiny blue marble way, way behind you. You're aiming for another star system, maybe Proxima Centauri even. But no GPS, no familiar constellation scrolling past the window. Makes you think twice about complaining when your phone loses signal. Huh. How on Earth, or maybe off Earth, would you even know where you are, let alone steer? It seems impossible almost. But this is where space exploration gets really ingenious. The answer, or at least a huge part of it, lies with a mission you probably know. NASA's New Horizons.
Yeah, New Horizons. Gave us those amazing Pluto pictures, what, a decade ago now?
That's the one. And then went on to Arrokoth in 2019, another historic flyby.
But it's not just like coasting on past glories, right? It's still out there, still doing stuff.
Oh, absolutely. It's currently the fastest thing we've ever launched, blazing through the Kuiper Belt. And it is still doing groundbreaking science.
Okay, like what's it up to now so far out? Well, it's doing really critical heliophysics work, studying the sun's environment way out there, and astrophysics too, measuring the cosmic optical background, basically the faint light between galaxies. And it's even taken pictures of distant stars, including Proxima Centauri, our nearest stellar neighbor.
Wow. Okay, but that brings us back to the main problem.
Yeah.
If you're that far out, how do you navigate? How do you stay oriented when your target stars are always shifting against the background?
Right. That's the core challenge. And the elegant solution, the capability New Horizons it's really pioneering out there is something called optical stellar astrometry.
Optical stellar astrometry. Sounds technical.
It is, but the concept is quite intuitive, actually.
Okay, so that's our mission for this deep dive then. Let's unpack how New Horizons is basically writing the rule book for this new kind of navigation.
Yeah.
We need to get into this parallax thing, figure out how these innovations are, well, literally paving the way for future trips. To the stars, for real. We're not just looking at what it's doing, but crucially, why it matters for actually getting humans, or our probes at least, to other star systems. Let's get into it.
Happy to. So traditionally, spacecraft navigation, it's mostly relied on, radio signals from Earth, the Deep Space Network, plus onboard star trackers. But they're mainly for figuring out which way the spacecraft is pointing, its orientation.
Okay, so keeping it stable, knowing its attitude.
Exactly. What New Horizons is doing, it's a whole leap beyond that. It's performing the first ever 3D optical astrometry from a spacecraft heading out of the solar system.
So not just which way it's pointing, but where it actually is in 3D space.
Precisely. It uses the tiny apparent shifts in the positions of nearby stars against the much more distant background stars. That shift is what we call parallax, and that lets it pinpoint its location.
Parallax, right? I think most people have a basic sense of that. Like, hold your finger up.
Yeah, the classic example. Hold up your finger, close one eye, then the other.
And your finger seems to jump against the background, right?
That jump is parallax. It's how our brain gets depth perception, sees in 3D.
So New Horizons is doing that, but on a cosmic scale.
On a truly cosmic scale. Get this. On April 22nd and 23rd, 2020, New Horizons and Earth basically formed a baseline for this measurement.
Okay.
And it was the largest baseline ever used for this kind of experiment, a staggering 47 astronomical units apart.
47 AU. What is that in miles?
Over 4.3 billion miles, more than 50 times the distance from the Earth to the sun.
Mind-boggling. So what did they do with this huge baseline?
They simultaneously imaged two relatively nearby stars, Proxima Centauri and another one called Wolf 359. Both spacecraft and Earth looked at them at the same time.
So like closing one eye than the other, but with Earth and New Horizons as the eyes?
Precisely.
Yeah.
And they saw a shift. The apparent position of Proxima Centauri and Wolf 359 shifted slightly against the backdrop of very distant stars. It was a tiny shift measured in arc minutes, but it was clear, measurable, usable data, enough to triangulate New Horizons' position.
So they could figure out exactly where they were, billions of miles away, just by looking at how a couple of stars seemed to move.
That's the power of it. And the really profound insight here, the reason this is so exciting, is that it proves this triangulation method isn't just a cool concept. It's a practical, scalable way for future probes to navigate autonomously.
Autonomously?
Yeah.
Meaning without constant calls back to Earth.
Exactly. It's just the question from where are we, which needs Earth to help answer, to potentially, okay, there's Proxima Centauri, and now how do we steer towards it? All calculated on board.
Wow. That feels like a huge step towards, well, actual interstellar travel. And this wasn't even the first time New Horizons used this kind of optical navigation, right? Didn't it do something similar at Pluto?
It absolutely did. That was a key part of the Pluto encounter's success. As it approached Pluto, its main camera, LORRI.
The Long-Range Reconnaissance Imager. Great name.
Right. LORRI was constantly snapping pictures of Pluto and its big moon, Charon. It watched how they moved against the background reference stars and used those images, those visual cues, to refine its path in real time.
So even as it was flying towards Pluto, it was using Pluto itself as a navigation beacon.
In a way, yes. By combining the gravity assist it got from Jupiter earlier with this real-time optical feedback, the mission controllers could correct for tiny errors, for uncertainties in its trajectory that you just couldn't nail down perfectly from Earth years in advance.
How big were those uncertainties? I mean, was it a major course correction needed?
They weren't huge, but definitely significant enough that without the optical navigation, the flyby wouldn't have been nearly as precise or successful. Remember, we'd only seen Pluto as essentially a fuzzy blob before New Horizons got there. Only a small part of its orbit had been mapped with really high precision. So using Pluto and Charon themselves to fine-tune the approach was critical. It proved the concept worked, even deep in the outer solar system with limited prior data, adapting on the fly.
Oh, okay, so it's a proven technique. New Horizons is still going, you said, heading out of the Kuiper Belt.
Yeah, it's approaching the outer edges now. Should be fully clear of the main belt by, the late 2020s probably.
And it still has fuel. Power.
Amazingly, yes. It has enough propellant and power from its RTG, its radioisotope thermoelectric generator, to keep operating well into the 2030s, maybe even longer.
So as it keeps going, what are the real hurdles now for using this technique on future interstellar probes? Is it just about building probes that last long enough? Or are there other tech challenges for making this fully autonomous?
That's a great question. Because while New Horizons showed it's possible, scaling this up for true autonomous interstellar missions, yeah, there are still hurdles. The parallax experiment strongly suggests future probes could navigate using just maybe 2 guide stars. That helps simplify things computationally.
Fewer stars to track means less processing power needed.
Right. But you'd want to enhance that. You'd likely need, say, AI-driven image processing on board, smarter algorithms to identify the guide stars, calculate the parallax, and make trajectory corrections much faster and more reliably. And probably more advanced star trackers, too, for even better precision. But it's not just about optical methods anymore.
Ooh. What else is in the mix?
Well, for ultimate accuracy, especially far from any nearby guide stars, you might want to look at pulsar timing.
Pulsars. Those spinning neutron stars.
Exactly. Some pulsars, particularly X-ray and radio pulsars, they emit beams of radiation that sweep across space like lighthouse beams, and they spin with incredible regularity, like cosmic clocks.
So you can use their pulses.
By precisely timing the arrival of pulses from several different pulsars, a spacecraft could triangulate its position in space. Maybe even more accurately than parallax in some situations. It's like having a galactic GPS system based on these natural phenomena.
Okay, that's fascinating. So it sounds like the future isn't about picking one method, but maybe combining them, building a sort of navigation toolkit.
You've nailed it. That's exactly what spacecraft designers are looking at, a multi-method approach for robustness and accuracy.
So what does that toolkit actually look like? What are the key components?
Okay, first, you've got the optical parallax techniques like New Horizons pioneered, using distant star fields, maybe simultaneous observations from multiple probes, or a baseline with Earth to measure those position shifts.
Method 1, parallax.
Got it. Method 2, pulsar timing navigation, using those superstable X-ray and radio pulsars as cosmic lighthouses for pinpoint accuracy.
Cosmic lighthouses, I like that.
And method 3, which sort of ties it all together, artificial intelligence, AI integration.
To automate everything.
Pretty much. Automating the star sighting, the pulsar timing analysis, the trajectory calculations and corrections, all without needing constant instructions from Earth, which, has that huge light delay problem over interstellar distances.
Right. You can't wait hours or days for instructions if you need to dodge something or make a quick burn.
Exactly. So you combine these tools, optical parallax, pulsar timing, and AI control. And suddenly, the idea of a probe autonomously charting its own course to Proxima Centauri or beyond, well, it starts to shift from science fiction towards engineering reality.
What an incredible picture you're painting. We're really seeing a navigation revolution unfold, and New Horizons is kind of the unsung hero leading the
It
charge.
really is. It's this blend of proven optical methods, refined to an incredible degree, combined with these emerging techniques like AI and pulsar timing. That's what could finally cut the cord, navigationally speaking, from our home solar system.
It really puts us right on the edge of something huge, doesn't it? An
Yeah.
interstellar navigation capability.
Absolutely. And it makes you wonder, could future spacecraft go even further? Maybe develop self-planning algorithms?
What do you mean, like choosing their own targets?
Yeah, maybe. Instead of just following a pre-programmed route, could they analyze their surroundings, identify interesting phenomena or targets on the fly, and decide, okay, let's divert and check that out, adapting the mission as they go?
Wow. That's a really mind-bending thought to end on. Autonomous exploration planners.
It's out there as a possibility.
So, as New Horizons sails silently onwards, further and further from the sun, it's leaving behind this incredible legacy. It's teaching us a profound lesson, really, that with the right vision, the right technology, and yeah, maybe just a couple of well-chosen guide stars,
Mm-hmm.
we actually can chart a course to the stars themselves.